Hey guys, welcome back to AlgoYogi. Now we are doing array and hashing series. Our next problem in the list is maximum difference between even and odd frequency. So let's go to LeetCode. You are given a string S consisting of lowercase English letters. Your task is to find the maximum difference, which is defined as frequency A1 minus frequency A2. What are those? Between the frequency of characters A1 and A2 that you will be choosing from the string S. A1 has an odd frequency in the string and A2 has an even frequency in the string. Return this maximum difference. So very simple description, but what they're really asking us to find the maximum difference between even and odd frequency of any characters. All right, so we need to find the maximum difference. So we are given these characters right here, and they have already told us that it's only going to be the English lowercase letters, right? So in that sense, like the space complexity, if you are thinking of using a map, or time complexity, like that seems it's going to be constant, right? Is it not? Actually, this time complexity might not be constant, but space complexity will be considered constant if you're trying to use a map. So let's go over this. So since it's all about finding the maximum difference between these counts, which one of the count has to be even and another has to be odd, and we are trying to find the maximum difference. How about we just count all the different count of all the different characters here? So what I'll do is I will create a map. I'll call it char map, which will be of size 26, of course, because it's just small case English letters, right? So it will be A, B, and C, but in this case it's just these three letters, right? These three. So let's just work with this example, and we can count these characters. So C is 1, B is 2, and then A is 5. So now we have the map with all the counts of these different characters. So I can go through all these character maps, and initially I can just, like, for the sake of counting either of the frequencies, even or odd, I'll just say like max odd currently is -1, and then I can just visit all these frequencies. So for character and count, I can just say in this char map dot items. So I'll be visiting all these items. Now this count right now, so first I'll have to check if this count is odd. So if this is odd, then its mode will give me 1, right? Then I can just say max count, max odd will be maximum of max odd or this count, right? Else what I can do is, now I'm seeing an even frequency. So for that I can also have let's say I can try to find a minimum even at this point. So minimum eve initially I will declare it as infinity, float infinity. Just remember, this is infinity I'm talking about. So I'll just delete this and write inf. Okay, if that's the case, now what I will do is, right now, if this count is greater than 0, or we can say and this min eve is actually less than infinity. The reason I'm doing an and here is this should only get updated if I have not found any min eve before, because such that this count that I'm finding for the first time, I will assign that as my value. Sorry, this not min eve, and this count is actually, new count is less than min eve, so that if I find even a smaller min eve count, then I assign that value to min eve. So min eve will now be, min even will be count. And once I come out of this loop, so I will have either this max odd. So there could be a few possibility. Either this max odd is -1, this didn't get updated right here, right? You never found a maximum, like you didn't find any frequency that was odd or even. In that case, these two values will not change. Otherwise, in a general scenario, you should be return max odd, which will give you a positive value, min eve. Otherwise, if max odd is equals to -1, or this min eve is infinity, then you can just return 0. If return 0, and if I'm not wrong, they must have told us like what they were trying to ask in case of if something is not present. Yeah, so they're saying that it's never the possibility when one of the frequency is not present. They're saying like S contains at least one character with an odd frequency and one with even frequency. So we don't have to worry about it, but like in general interviews, you should definitely consider, you know, all the possibility, all the edge cases. But you should definitely clear these things up with the interviewer. I would. All right, so now we can write the solution here. Although I think the reason this problem is, you know, the first is because it must have like some other variations which might be a little more complicated and with little more edge cases like what we just talked about. So let's just create the char map. Char map is going to be just empty, or you know what, I'll just call it default dict of type int, and then for char, for CNS char map, I'm just storing all the characters count. All right, and you can simply even write that counter as well, but I like to write it this way because it shows how you actually got that map. It's better to write your own code, even if there is an inbuilt function available, unless it's a really long code that you're about to write. Now you can go over all the key and value, and I'm gonna say it char and count in this char map dot items. But before that, let's declare our max odd as -1 and min eve as infinity. All right, so now we are trying to find these two values, right? So what I'll say is if this count is odd, so divided by 2, if this gives a mod, then it's an odd frequency, right? So if it is an odd frequency, then you will basically try to update your max odd with max of max odd and this count. That's it. Otherwise, it's an even frequency, so you will only want to update it either if your min eve, if this count is actually right now greater than 0, and this count is actually less than min eve, less than min eve. So this will only get updated when, if this was infinity and this count is smaller than infinity, then we must update this, right? But this count also has to be actually greater than, sorry, not 0. This count is smaller than min eve, because I'm trying to find the minimum even frequency. So I think that's a better way of finding this. So I will just, if this is the case, then my min eve will be this count. And even you can just say honestly minimum of min eve and count, rather than just worrying about all these possibilities. That's a better way of saying that. It wasn't in my head before, but then you can just return max odd minus min eve, but we should only come here, although they have given us, we just read the constraints, we will always execute this. But in case if either max odd is -1 or min eve is infinity, then we can just say return 0 or -1. You can just write just an edge case, although it should never execute. So let's try to zoom out and run this. Awesome. Let's submit. Awesome. And I can just get rid of this part, right? I can get rid of this part and submit again. Shouldn't change much, but yeah, just a little bit. It's a better solution. Now let's talk about the space and time complexity. Let's write down time complexity first. It would be big of n, where n is the length of S, and space would be, I would say space, you can just write constant like big of 1, but I would write big of 26, which you can say again, because at most you are storing 26 letters in your map. And instead of map, a lot of people, what they do is just create an array of 26 size where they represent 0 to 25, that index as the letter there, because it wouldn't matter, right? Like you can just take the ordinal ASCII value and then work with those. So that will be it. But remember, there might be more variant of this problem that we will discover later, and then those edge cases that I talked about, we will have to take care of those. Anyway, this was a pretty intuitive solution, and yeah, let's go back to AlgoYogi and mark this solved. See you guys later in the next problem.